Good morning, this is Karie Lee from Sacred Cedars Wilderness School, and this morning I wanted to share with you how to make tallow. Tallow is a great fat for cooking with, high in good energy. So we just processed a lamb in our animal processing course last week, and so now I want to show you how to process that fat. So I have here the fat that goes around the kidney. I've already cut the fat off. And here is the kidney. And the kidney is surrounded by fat because the kidney in Chinese medicine stores all of our energy. So when we were born with just a certain amount of energy, and it is stored in the kidney. And as we go through life and our daily whatever it is we're doing, we use all of that energy, and then it's important to take a step back, some time off, and rejuvenate our kidneys. We've all heard of that, right? Because it's like a piggy bank. We're only born with so much energy, and we burn it all, and then we need to rejuvenate it. So the kidney is wrapped around all this fat. It's a big hunk of fat that surrounds it. And why does it have so much fat around it? That is because the kidneys are very important for our livelihood. And so it's protected by all this fat to keep it from being injured. It's kind of like a baby. A baby is in the placenta and it has all that water around it, so that's floating around there and protected. Same with the kidney. So I've cut the kidneys out and I'm going to set them aside for cooking for later. They're very yummy. And if you have kidney exhaustion or adrenal exhaustion, same thing. In Chinese medicine, the adrenals sit right above the kidneys. And in Chinese medicine, kidneys and adrenals are treated as the same. They work together. So it's really important. If you're suffering from adrenal exhaustion or fatigue, eating kidneys is an awesome thing to do for your own kidneys. Okay, so this is what we do with the kidney fat. I've already taken it off of the kidneys. Here we have 4 lamb kidneys that we processed. 2 lambs makes 4 kidneys. And I am going to just cut it up into little 1-inch pieces. That's a whole knife. Like so. And I'm going to put it in this pot because this is what we are going to be rendering on the stove. I also have what's called the caul. And isn't it beautiful? It's this netting that wraps around the stomach and the intestines to also protect it and hold it together. I don't need to cut this up, but we can render this as well. There is a big chunk of fat on the ends. I'm gonna throw that in too. And no need to worry about little spots of blood or anything like that, because that's what rendering does. It renders out the impurities, and then we strain it and we get what's called the tallow. So now I have all the fat cut up into little 1-inch pieces. I have the fat from the kidneys. I also have the fat that was wrapped around the heart. The heart is also precious. The fat around the heart also protects the heart, same as the kidneys. And I also have the caul that's wrapped around the intestines and the stomach, and it's all in this pot. So now all I do is I'm going to put it on a wood stove because I want to keep it on really low heat. The key is to not cook the fat. We just want it to melt. Okay, so we're going to do that next. And why do we render fat? Why can't we just cook with it like this? Well, we can, but it's full of impurities. There's a little bit of casing, maybe little spots of blood, but it is not shelf stable. This will go rancid quickly because there's moisture in it. So we need to render the fat, which means to slowly melt it, not boil, but slowly melt it so that it evaporates all the moisture out of it. So here it is. I'm going to put it on my wood stove because it's on a nice low heat, very consistent, and it can just sit here all day. No, I am not going to put a lid on the pot because this is going to keep the moisture in. I want the moisture to evaporate out. Very important, do not put a lid on the pot. So I'm just going to let it sit here and melt, and I'm going to come stir it every once in a while. and just let it sit all day. And then we're ready for the next step. All right, this lamb fat has been rendering for at least 12 hours, just slowly melting away on nice low heat on the wood stove. And look how liquid it is. That's what we want. And the leftover bits we call cracklins. So now all I'm going to do is strain it into another pot to get all the extra impurities and stuff out of there. And then I might melt it again and strain it twice. So that's what I'm gonna do next. So I am going to use a stainless steel bowl, only because one, it won't crack by the heat of the fat, but two, if I wanted to, I could actually put this right back onto the wood stove directly and melt the fat if I needed to. So here's my stainless steel bowl and a strainer and some muslin. You could also use cheesecloth if you wanted to. Coffee filters are just too fine at this point. We want to get the big stuff out. All right, so we're ready to go. I'm just going to gently pour this in. Now I'm going to get the lid. Now with the lid, I'm going to strain all the rest of it. Here we have a nice bowl of liquid fat. You see it's golden right now, but when it cools down, it should be all pure white. And the rest of this, we have cracklins. Now I might try to put this back on the stove and maybe even get a little more fat. There's still some fat in here. We'll see what happens. So this is what we have left, pure fat. Gonna let it cool down and I may strain it one more time. And here we are with the finished product. I strained it for the second time and got even more of the impurities out. As you can see, there's no impurities or sediment on the bottom of the jar and nothing on the top. Nice and white and creamy and so, so good. So it took about 1.5 lambs to make a quart jar, and this is all for free. This is about a $60 value online. And all for free right here in my wood stove at home. So enjoy, save your fat. It's yummy and good for you. It's good for the brain, good for your body, good for your joints, all of that. We need to have some fat and it's yummy.